And he comes and gets nose to nose to me as I'm an 11-year-old kid standing on the porch watching this, just not knowing what to do. And he said, "I'm going to financially destroy your mother." And I was like, okay. And I stood there long enough before I was like, I do something. I ran upstairs, actually stole a couple of his firearms because I was like, well, I guess I'm the protector of the house now. Hit him. I later told my mom, and she was like, "I'll take those back, please." But at any rate, when I joined the Army, what I decided to do was, I'm gonna find out myself what this guy is all about. And so I called him up and I said, "Listen, I've made it through Ranger Indoctrination Program. That's what RASP used to be called. I'm assigned to the 2nd Ranger Battalion up in Washington. You opted out on being my father, but I would at least, it feels to me like this soldiering business now connects us, especially because I'm a Ranger and you were a Green Beret. And so I'd like to at least give a relationship a try. The boat has left on being my dad, but I'll give it a go." Mm-hmm. And so we kind of engaged for a little bit over, that time, about a year. I ended up getting sent to Ranger School in 8 months later. So the way it works in the Ranger Regiment is that you can go in, as long as you pass assessment and selection, you get assigned to a Ranger Battalion. Mm-hmm. So you're line operational, 18 hours worldwide deployable, the whole 9 yards. And then when you get identified as somebody that the battalion wants to invest in for leadership, you get sent to the U.S. Army Ranger School. You go through Ranger School, you come back, and then you continue to progress.
And that's how you get your tab, right?
That's how you get your tab, yeah. So scroll is the unit, tab is the school. And so I get sent to Ranger School. I'd been there for about 8 months. And I told him, "Why don't you come out and come to my Ranger School graduation?" And he came out to my Ranger School graduation. And, when you're a kid and you don't know anything and you hear these stories that sound like, wow, that sounds almost like a movie. And then you hear these things like, oh yeah, I got a Purple Heart from getting pollen in my eye on a training jump. And then when you're in the military, you're like, that's not how Purple Hearts work.
Like at all.
At all. And then you're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. If that's...
pollen in my
And I'm like, if that was what it was... And then you go back and you start rehashing like some of the small shreds of things that you've heard. You're like, no, I think that was a movie, actually. I think I'm not sure about that. So I invited him out to something that meant a lot to me, and we sat down face to face, and I said, you've been telling me you're going to tell me all these stories. Tell me the story. I had just turned 20.
Your beer, Pop.
Here's your beer. And as the stories,
Oh, he actually gave the stories a go.
He tried to give it a go.
Instead of just owning it right there. He
100%.
Gave it a go.
Yeah. And I would ask, second, third, fourth order question. You know the deal.
Because now you know the questions.
You've seen it,
You'll hear a story being told and it's one word. And you're like,
please stop.
Like, run that back. Hit me with that again. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, you're just like, hey, man, we don't have to do this. Don't do this.
How did he take that once you realized it? Did you confront him with it and give him the chance to come clean?
So we were supposed to spend the weekend together, and I called my unit. I was basically like, get me out of here. And I went from Georgia back to Washington. I say, hey, I got a jam.
Yeah.
And then my brother came up and he flew out, and we had this kind of weekend together. And in the end of the day, after we spent a weekend together, and I was just like, that's enough. I've had enough. And I sat him down we were up actually in Seattle, and we sat down for lunch. And I think it took about 2 hours. I said everything I ever wanted to say to him, and do include like, what are you talking about? This is not how this works. What did you actually do? Come to find out that he was actually a personnel clerk in Germany during the Vietnam War. And one of the things that he had said to me, which really just it's, sometimes when you're talking to somebody who's just not very well, they're kind of a sick person, and they can't perceive reality in the manner in which reality is unfolding. They say things that they think are going to land really well, and they're just so far off. And the thing that he said to me that just was like hard stop was, he said in a joking manner that he would get bribes to take soldiers' names off the manifest to go to Vietnam and put other soldiers on. And I said to him, so let me get this straight. You're basically telling me that you profited off of sending soldiers to their potential death. That's what you're telling me right now. I don't know why you would think that that's something, why you would share that. And I just remember telling him, it all really kind of boiled down to, look, I've been in the Army for a little bit of time now, and this whole 7 Army values, loyalty, duty, respect, self-service, honor, integrity, personal courage, this whole Ranger Creed thing, expecting to be morally straight. Like, I buy all of that shit. I'm 100% all in on it, and you're just not the kind of guy that I associate with. So I think we're done here.
Did he tell other people in his life outside of you that he was a Green Beret?
Oh, yeah.
So it was a large part of his identity?
So we went down. Fast forward a number of years later. And at the time, we were living in Georgia.